Hey folks, you know I take my trail camera intel pretty seriously. It's a huge part of how I build my hunting strategy, and I'm always looking for gear that just flat out works. Stuff I can rely on. Backed by solid people and the best customer support in the business. That's exactly why I run Tacticam Reveal cell cameras. Whether you're just getting started or you're a full-blown data junkie like me, they've got a camera to fit your budget and your hunting style. My go-to currently is the Reveal 3.0 series with fully integrated GPS. These things are dead simple to set up. Less fiddling, more scouting and hunting. And they run on most major service providers and will automatically connect you to the strongest signal in your area. So no more hiking to the top of a ridge just to realize you've got the wrong service provider. Been there, not fun. Here's the kicker. You don't even need an SD card. That means fewer trips in, less pressure on your spots, and more real-time intel sent straight to your phone. And if you pair it with a Reveal solar panel or a lithium cartridge, you can keep those cameras running longer and spend more time doing what actually matters. Scouting new ground, dialing in a setup, or maybe, just maybe, finally cleaning the garage like you told your wife you would before the season started. Don't just take my word for it. Check out Tacticam Reveal at tacticam.com. Tacticam. Everything you need to take your hunting to the next level. Stay more comfortable, more concealed, and in the stand longer with Asio gear. Premium camouflage apparel created for bow hunters by bow hunters. Asio's revolutionary patented camo patterns and innovative features are designed to keep whitetail bow hunters totally invisible and dead quiet. Elevate your game with Asio. Visit asiogear.com and take 20% off your purchase with code TRUTH20. Welcome to the Truth from the Stand Deer Hunting Podcast, brought to you by Tacticam and Reveal cellular cameras. I'm your host, Clint Campbell, and you're listening to episode number 449. Today I'm joined by my buddy Cody to talk about unplugging, hunting harder, and when it's time to go kill mode. So stay tuned. All right. What is up, everyone? Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are feeling fine. Hopefully you're getting a little bit of time in the timber. Got back from family vacations and a couple more weeks, nose to the grindstone here, a couple more weeks, and we will be in the midst of hunting season. I think as this thing drops, it's maybe like a month and a half roughly until some of the western states start to open, which is crazy to think. It seems like every year it kind of sneaks up on us, or at least me personally, it sneaks up on me a little quicker every year, which not mad about it at all. Always looking forward to the season. Got some hunting arrows built, so finally kind of did that. Got the longbow set up, kind of fully dialed in, and now it's just kind of biding my time and kind of wait until it's showtime. So with that, before we jump into today's episode, want to make a quick mention that I have a 5-part series, podcast mini series episodes, 5 episodes that are started coming out last week. The first episode dropped, all about using trail cameras and how to use trail cameras to set up hunts, and set up strategies. Last week's was really just more about kind of the myths or the truths about trail cameras and things you need to be looking for, and what you should be kind of considering when you're picking up trail cameras, and some like basic kind of functions and use cases of them. This week and then going forward, we get into more advanced kind of placements, moving them throughout the season, how you should be using them during different times of the season, how to build strategy with them, how to analyze the data. Basically everything that I've been able to kind of pick up over the years of running a bunch of trail cameras, me personally, and then a bunch of the guys that I've worked with in the past and hunted with in the past, and swapped trail camera data to build hunt strategies. So that'll be dropping every Thursday for the next couple weeks. I guess from this point forward, probably the next 4 weeks. If you haven't yet, head back one episode and check out that the truths about trail cameras. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump into today's show. Have my buddy on, Mr. Cody DeQuisto. You guys know him, you love him. The dying breed bow hunter. Always a great session with him. Always love chatting with him. He just recently got off the road. He did a big trip with his family that we talk about a little bit. He kind of does that every summer to kind of do a reset. And a lot of what we talk about in this session is certainly hunting, right? But the one thing that I always appreciate about Cody is just kind of his mental approach to hunting. And I think he and I, to a degree, are on similar kind of paths as far as, trying to figure out how to, be a little bit more present, finding time to unplug. Because when we do that, we ultimately feel like we, probably hunt better and are able to hunt harder. And so that's a lot of what we talk about today, along with, all the hunting stuff you would kind of expect us to kind of get into. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into today's show. As always, thank you all for listening. All right, folks, welcome back to another episode of the Truth from the Stand Deer Hunting Podcast. I got my buddy on. You guys know him. You love him. Mr. Cody by God DeQuisto. What's going on, man?
Shit, man. Same old. Well, I don't know. A lot's going on. There's a bunch of different things, man. We got the road show ready to kick off. I've been trying to remodel a little office here for a stable work environment. Just got back from the road trip, so I got a lot going on, man. But I'm
Right.
glad to be with you. I know we talked about linking up a couple months ago, and we've been talking a little on the phone and stuff. So it's good to be
Yeah.
back. It's good to be on.
Nice, man. How was your trip, dude? How long were you vagabonding it with the family?
Uh Man, a few weeks. Like we were out
Okay.
there maybe. So we kind of I do it a little different. So because I got a really flexible schedule, I get a bunch of my stuff done, and then we usually take like the month of June, or I've been trying to do that now that the kids are a little older, and kind of give them June, like before I disappear for shows and then hunting season comes in. So we took off early June and just got back. So about a month, but I kind of scheduled it like my sister lives out west now. So we kind of
Hmm.
bummed around out there. When I got there, I set up a base camp, caught up on some work for about a week, and then we left there and then, kind of traveled around on the way back. So it works out good. But had a good time,
Nice.
seen some good stuff, got some good shut off time, man. Good time to
Yeah.
unplug and reset a little bit. So
Yeah. How unplugged do you get out there? Because I know I mean, we've talked, at different times just about the necessity of just kind of wiping the slate clean and just getting away from everything, right? And it's hard to do, right? And we talked a lot about, like, I think the last time when we did a podcast, we've talked since then, obviously, like on the phone and stuff, but we talk a bit about, presence and being present, and and that kind of stuff's hard to do when you don't get that complete kind of disconnect shut off
eh,
time, right?
dude, it's so hard. Honestly, this has been one of my shit for I don't know, for as long as I can remember, the last 5 years at least. It's been more, and then more prevalent like 3 years. And I know we talked. I think last time we did a podcast was postseason, and
Hmm.
it's like one of those things that I've been working on or trying best as I can, because I feel like that's such a leap, and it's so hard to get there. And I'm not there. Like I'm not, but I want to be. So it's like something I'm working towards, and with like a mind that's racing all the time, and when you got so many irons in the fire, it's so hard to turn it off. And maybe it's just the way that I'm wired, but I seen a dude, and I was at a coffee shop banging out some work for like, I don't know, 6 hours. This was a while back. It's just I'm going off on a crazy tangent, but I went to this coffee shop, had my laptop, was like grinding on a bunch of shit, and when I walked in there to get a coffee, there was this dude who walked in with like a book in his hand and like just sat on the couch. And I remember like taking note. He sat on the couch and just started like reading this book, and I was like, oh shit, okay. Anyway, I worked for like 6 hours, 7 hours. Coffee shop was about to close. I was leaving. He was still there reading his book, and I was like, man, I was like, I wish I could do that. Like, I wish I could just be that removed from everything going on, that I could just sit down and read a book for 7 hours.
Yeah.
I'm the total opposite, but that's some presence right there, man. I don't think he was
Yeah.
thinking about a bunch of other stuff, but um,
Yeah, I mean, that's a level of unbothered I would like to be able to get to.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
To just have not a care in the world. But to answer your question, I do try and unplug. It's nice because when I get in situations like that, like I don't have service, I don't have reception.
Mhm.
We do a lot of camping, backcountry camping type stuff. And even when I do have some reception, I try to, not even look at my phone, at least be off the technology, just to get some separation from the technology,
Right.
because that's like the most important thing, I think. But yeah, so I try and be as present as I can, and snap myself out of working when I start to work, and you know be as good as I can, I guess.
Right. What yeah, I'm curious, whenever I'll put it this way. For me, whenever I get the chance to kind of do that, like go and plug somewhere, and get off grid, if you will, and even if I'm not off grid, just to where it's like I can stay away from technology and just not get away from the nonsense of the everyday life, right? Even if I have to like answer a phone call from family or answer a text from family or something like that, like not a big deal, but just like remove myself from the everyday kind of nonsense. I always kind of come back and there's always like a lesson learned or something like a little something I figured out about myself, like during those kind of those little moments or whatever. I'm curious for you, man, because you're traveling with your tribe and stuff like that, and the outdoors is a big part of not just you but your family and stuff like that. And so I'm curious, when you come back from a month of trying to do that, like what do you is there something new that you come back with kind of every time?
Um, I don't think so. Or I don't know. I haven't thought about it in that regard, and nothing jumps out to me. I definitely feel recharged, feel a little bit more refreshed. It's a constant balancing act for me of like fighting the mental struggle of like knowing that I'm getting behind and I'm getting
Uh-huh.
further behind by not working. So I try to shut that off, and I've been trying to do a lot better on like being because I don't ever, despite like my activity on social media, which is not a lot at all, and people want me to do more on there, but I never go on there. Like I'm never on there just bumming around looking at things. I When I go on there, it's to try and give back and do some posts or whatever. Like so, I tried to do a little bit of follow, or I tried to do a little bit. Like I when I got reception, I'd do a post on like where I was at, throw a couple pictures out there, but try not to get too engulfed in it. But I'd say the biggest benefit for me is just being recharged, and but it sucks. It's like a bittersweet thing because when I come back from it, like I notice how more clear and focused I am from not being bogged down by all the electronics and shit and looking at a screen all the time. And then I got to go like right back into it. So it's almost like, oh man, okay, kind of, it's like
I know.
it kind of actually sucks like coming back
It
from it. So
reminds you how shitty everyday life is.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of those double-edged swords, man. It's like awesome to be like remote and have the freedom, but then at the same time, it's like, oh man, okay, this there isn't a punch out, so it's like
Hmm.
so it's yeah, there's a double-edged sword,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. It just sometimes the time away just reminds you how much you like prefer to have time away.
oh yeah, 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 yeah,
you know, it's
yep,
because same thing. I was just on vacation. We just got back like a week ago, and you know, it's always kind of you love vacation, love to get the time to go away and lounge around, do whatever. And but then when you come back, the reality is even that much more harsh than you remembered it when you left, for whatever
yeah,
reason. But
yeah,
you kind of get back into the swing of things. I was thinking of this the other day because I was thinking about AI in general. Um, and I was like, AI was supposed to, at least in my field, like what I do, right? It's supposed to make your life easier, right? That's kind of like what people kind of sell it as, right? It's going to make things easier. It's going to increase your quality of life. But I kind of feel like it's the opposite a little bit, where it's like I feel like there's an inflection point where AI doesn't make your life easier until it gets to a certain point. In the interim, it actually, in some ways, makes your life harder because now the expectation of what you can produce becomes more, right? And so
yeah,
I don't really get any of my time back. I'm just now expected to do more with my time than I was previously.
yeah, 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 yeah. I definitely hear that, man. Like there's, and dude, and a guy like me, like I'm only like tickling the tip of the iceberg with AI, like and stuff. Every day I'm discovering or being told shit that I'm like, oh my God, like holy shit, you can do that or you can do this. But yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
It does kind of catapult the expectation because like, okay, well if that's unloaded or like what more then can we squeeze out of this or can I get done or like as far as quota wise goes, I get that for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It's just the expectation becomes more, more and more. It's like you don't reap the benefit necessarily right away. But speaking of, having a lot going on, dude, you have I imagine this is a cool time of year for you guys because you have your road show coming up, right? And that's like, outside of like some of the, more consumer shows, if you will, like the bigger, like the Great American Outdoor Show and stuff like that. Like this is
Yep.
really a chance for you guys to kind of really let people play with the toys, have some discussions, like meet your tribe, really, right? That's going to be kind of cool
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah. No, that's honestly, it's like I always kind of there's been a love-hate relationship with me and the show grind too, man. It's like I've been doing
Yeah.
shows for so long, and I mean, there was always this, you guys, you'd always give me shit when I'd roll in 5, 10, 15 minutes late to the to the Harrisburg show or whatever. But I would I'd do these trade shows, and as a kid, I would do them, and I'd love
Hmm.
being there. I love talking to people. I used to demo the gear, so I used to like be that little kid on a pole, climbing up the stand and climbing down, or like
Hmm.
I wouldn't at that time. I wouldn't get too many people really like asking me what was up because like I was just
Hmm.
some punk kid that looked out of place, like wheeled in the stands on a pole. But it sent a message that, oh shit, these things are easy to use. Like if that kid can climb up that pole, I can do that. So that was
Right.
my first kind of introduction to shows. And then I started, as I started hunting a lot more myself, I started to, sell and just learn sales like at shows, but more connecting with people. And it became over the years like one of my favorite times to get out there because I would just meet like literally the whole team now. I would say 90% of my team or like the people I'm associated with, I probably met at deer shows somewhere or
Hmm.
through hunting or, get togethers. So I'd like to get to them to meet people. Yeah, it was cool because you sell the gear, but like I was never really like a hard sale guy. I was just like, hey, talking to people, talking hunting, bullshitting, common interest, that type of thing. So the show started to wear me out over time because it's like, you're doing these shows for, you know, 12, 15 shows a year. And then whether the venue's there, whether your demographics there, or like whether they did a good enough job promoting, like a lot of those things started to change that. And then COVID hit. And then all of a sudden there was no shows and it was like shit. And I just remember like wanting to create something that was more like, okay, I'm not talking to, thousands of people that come through the door that might not be interested in what I got to say or like what we're doing. We weed through all the customers. We sell a select limited amount of tickets to like our direct consumer, like our guy, our avatar, our like us. Essentially
Hmm.
like the people who are doing what we're doing, the mobile hunters, the guys who are taking it up a notch, and then have it be like a super personal get together that is like direct, one-on-one, inform. Not only can you see the gear, but it's really based around like whitetail hunting tactic in general.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it started with me bumming around in the van and just doing little workshops. Like I would just kind of throw something up, like, "Hey, I'm going to be over here. Like, if anybody wants to check out some gear, come check it out." Then we like started booking venues, and then we'd open up tickets, and depending on what that venue could hold, like if it was, we've had them in people's backyards, and some of
Hmm.
those actually ended up being some of the best shows. We'd have like 100 people in a backyard, and it was really cool. And now we got to the point where we like get them we get a couple meals involved. It's an all day thing. We got some learning, some cool activity, some mingling, and then we have a little after party. So yeah, it's a cool time, man. I love them. I love what they've turned into, and we got big things planned for the future as well. But it's just a cool opportunity to meet new dudes, showcase the products, connect, and yeah, it puts me on the road for like another month traveling from the summer, like coming right into the season, which I dig that too. I like camping and being on the road and
Yeah.
being new places. So. But yeah, man,
Nice.
so it's exciting. We're about to kick that off, man. We start or 3 weeks to the first show this year.
Oh, really? Nice. What places, what towns are you hitting this year?
So we're doing Galanaga, Georgia is where we're kicking it off, and that's the
Okay.
2nd of August. Then we're going to, I think it's Salinsville, Ohio. It's right on the border of Pennsylvania and Ohio
Mm.
on the east side, or sorry, west side there. And that's the 9th. And then we're going over to Stanton, Virginia on the 16th, I believe, that following weekend. And then we're ending it with a show at the HQ here in Iowa. It'll be like the finale
Nice.
show for the year on the 23rd. Just
Nice.
in time for people to go hit openers for like that shit, the 28th. I mean, I think Kentucky, like North Dakota, like there's a lot of states that come in that following weekend.
Yeah.
Um, so
Man, after all these years of like the road show that you've been doing and stuff, what's like is there anything that kind of sticks out to you as like a because like the one thing that always strikes me, and this is like I've told this story 100 times about your dad. It was like the first time I met your dad. Um, Iowa show, I think, was and it was years ago. it was actually the year that I hunted Iowa. I came out to do some shed hunting, and the Iowa show was during that time frame.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I got to meet your, oh, you and I think we all did a podcast, and I got to meet your dad. It was the first time I ever met him. And I've told the story before because we were talking about hunting, obviously, and he was asking me questions about a hunt that I had been on, and he was like so like focused on what I was talking about, and I was like, dude, this is wild, man. This is the goat, and he's like
Yeah.
gives two shits about what I have to say, like intently
Mm.
listening, right?
Yeah.
And that,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that guys that are good at something, right? It's like they get good because they pay attention, and they look for tricks, tips, tactics. They look for like the another kind of tool in their tool belt from anywhere. They don't care where it comes from, right? And you're kind of cut from that same cloth. Like we talk about this stuff offline. We'll get to the jiu-jitsu stuff here in a second, but we're cut from that same cloth where it's like we're always kind of seeking knowledge no matter where it comes from. And so I'm curious for you, having done all these road shows and exposure to a bunch of people, a bunch of good hunters, some people know, and some and some that show up to the show that you don't know that are just killers, right? Has there
Hmm.
been something that surprised you at one of these shows where it's like you were talking to a dude and you were like, shit, man, this dude's a killer?
Dude, I get it all the time, man. Like, and that's actually, if there was one thing that I could preface about these shows and what's so cool is it makes it a tough nut for like exposing it to people because we have such a broad spectrum of attendee, right? So we've had
Mm-hmm.
guys who were pushing 60 who've never mobile hunted, who've came there for knowledge, who've drove like 5 hours to get to the venue, and then we got guys who are 25 who have been stacking deer for the last, like, you know what I mean? Like there's total yin and yang. But the one thing I
Mm-hmm.
made sure to do right off the bat is that every one of these shows, based on the location, I hand pick like 4 to 5 speakers. And usually I'll have at least 2 to 3 local, like right in that zone. And then I go two
Mm-hmm.
expanded and then a couple that are like way expanded. So for instance, in PA,
Mm-hmm.
we'll have 2 to 3 like local grinders in PA who are known for consistently killing in PA. And then a step back, we'll have 2 to 3 that are just like northeast, southeast guys. You might have a North Carolina guy, you might have a guy that's up in
Mm-hmm.
Maine, and then you might have a guy that might be like, eastern side of Ohio. Like so now you got a little expanded. Then you got like me that's Midwest, and then we might even have somebody from down south, like a Georgia guy. So it's really cool. So at every show I try and bring that, and I make sure that I bring that. And not only that, for as far as location, but the way they hunt and the style they hunt. So you might have two guys who hunt saddles. You might have two guys who are like private ground small parcel piece. You might have two guys who are like big woods public guys, Ridgy. And you might have like couple egg guys, so it's like my goal is that anybody that's there, any situation that they're in or have been in or could be in, there's somebody that they can hone to, or like whatever style they float toward, they can relate and gravitate to that dude. Like, okay, shit, I'm hunting the mountains of PA. I'm gonna go by Josh because like he's getting it done in the big woods. He's got a lightweight setup. He's packing in every day like me. I don't got private ground. Like he knows the grind. I want to get to him. And what's cool is I have a segment where we kind of morph everybody's gear into one, and we show like the little tips and tricks that like people do to their personal setup. And then we have like group panel discussions about like scouting and like in these workshops, like advanced tactics and like, bed hunting and stuff like that. And what I love the most is like I soak it all in from everybody. And I'll always be like picking little cherries from all these different guys that I know that I might not know everything about, but we get into different scenarios or I see somebody's setup. There's been customers who come to the shows who have setups already, who do shit that I'm like, ooh, and it gives me ideas for even designing shit. Like, because
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Gear tie, tape, fucking strap type person too. Like I'm getting my shit how I want it, my system dialed. So
Yeah.
it's like when
Yeah.
I see somebody that like
Yeah.
ratcheted on, or he taped on a freaking half a bolt to have it be like an anchor for the strap because it was missing. I'm like, oh shit, okay, that's slick. And then I can like take it back to like then next year, all of a sudden, we add in a little hook to the stand, and so like shit like that's cool. Even scouting stuff, like shit. Last year, I learned some awesome big wood stuff from like this old timer who was there, who was talking about like he was talking about like crop rotations versus elevation and stuff like just. I mean, I think it was like
Mm.
certain acorn trees producing at different heights for I don't know. Like I got it written down in my notes, but I remember just like I'm always taking in shit like that. We had a tracker. We had a dude
Yeah.
who tracks for a living, and like just you know shot information and tracking information and stuff like that. Like always taking it, dude. Always. If you're not looking to absorb it, man, you're not growing, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, that the different food at different elevation is an interesting topic. There's a guy that I know that I've kind of become friends with, just online, and he doesn't live too awful far from me. We've never like hung out, in person, but he was actually, he's a big woods guy, and he was actually, if I'm remembering this correctly, he was actually tracking um, soil samples and like the soil makeup at different elevation relative to what was growing in those areas, right? So he
Hmm.
could kind of tell you at like different elevations, like this is where your white oaks are going to be, and if the soil changes like X, it's going to be a down year or whatever the case was, right? Like he was tracking that stuff, so he kind of knew year to year where his food was going to be throughout the season, right, based
Yeah,
on soil and elevation. And I was like, I don't have the brain for that. I was like,
yeah,
you give me an elevation line, I'm good. Like, but if I have to start tracking soil and stuff like that, like it's bad news. It's not gonna
yeah,
not gonna work out for me. But it was more so like when I learned that when he shared that with me, he was finding some consistencies. It was kind of new for him at that moment, but he was finding some consistencies. But what it did for me was I started paying more attention when I was scouting, like
yeah,
if I would find a food source and be like, okay, what elevation am I at? And then it's like I would remember that, or I'd mark it down. And then whenever I
yeah,
would scout another area of that same big woods piece, if I'd be in that similar elevation, I'd be like, hey, I wonder if there's white oaks around here, or I wonder if there's a bunch of red oaks that are here, or whatever happened to be at
yeah,
that elevation. It just made me think about it while I was in the woods. Which part of that is having that stuff front of mind when you are scouting or when you are hunting, right? That you don't have to
yeah.
necessarily
And
make a dyed
if
in the
a
wool plan for it per se, but it's like, but just having it there as like a recall to be able to go, hey, I remember something about this. I wonder if this is true here too.
Yeah, and then you can, that's the greatest thing too, is like you can try it for yourself. Anything you see at these shows or you hear from somebody, you can always give it a shot. If it doesn't work out, you might find you might find a way that's slightly off of that works out perfect for your style. And then all of a sudden it was something you had that you didn't have before, and it
Mm-hmm.
was it was birthed from that information you got from that person, but you just made it your own. And I remember this piece of information too. It had something to do with oaks at elevation, and I remember thinking to myself like, okay, well, shit, if there's relevance to that, a guy could eliminate a fuck ton of ground. Like if he was coming into
Mm-hmm.
10,000 acres and it was very, very um, gnarly elevation, like a guy could eliminate a lot of stuff looking for an early season acorn crop by just knowing that one fact. If it was, if it held water, you'd
Mm-hmm.
have to check in on it, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's so gear stuff. I'd say gear stuff a little bit more than you get sprinkles of knowledge and stuff, but a lot of it's gear focus. And then when we get into these bigger talking segments, we even do. Onyx is a big partner of ours, and we do this whole mapping thing to where like we talk about like utilizing maps for out of state hunts, and then like properties you normally hunt, and then we'll have these speakers go through and we'll upload the map of like where they killed, and we'll go like walk through a whole kill on that map, and then everybody at the show can be like, oh well, why'd you hunt this ridge? Why didn't you go over here? Why'd you do this? It's really cool. That's one of the most. I think that's one of the favorite segments like from is the mapping segment from the people there, because they can pull out their phone, they can kind of look at that, they can see what's going on, and they can ask any question based off
Mm-hmm.
of like thermals or access or and you got four or five guys doing that on a different scenario, and we make sure that a lot that okay, let's pick a kill that's a little different, let's pick a kill that's like this, or and it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
We cater it to the area, so it really works out nice.
Nice. Nice. Nice. That's awesome, dude. Like, so going back to what you said, something, like removing, if you can find that elevation with like that food or whatever the case is, and if it holds water, right, you can remove a bunch of area. I think that's one thing that guys overlook. They try to find where the thing is versus finding where it's not. Right?
Oh yeah,
How
yeah,
much of
yeah.
like your approach? How much of your approach is elimination versus adding or identifying?
Dude, it's all elimination. Like what I'm trying to do is eliminate everything except like what I want to hone in on, and then I'll give my 100% focus to that area that I've kind of determined is the area to do it. Because if I start to look at too much and I put too much on my plate, I just spread myself too thin, and then it's not a good recipe for success. Like so, I think finding the perfect
Mhm.
middle ground of like having a plan B, not going all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, all the time, but don't spread yourself so thin, man. Eliminate more of that ground than anything, and really it comes down to making a judgment call and picking versus like keeping it too open. Because if you can't hunt 15 spots hard, I don't give a fuck who you are and how much time you
Mhm.
have. You can't do it. You can't do it. Like you can hunt 15 spots
Mhm.
half ass, and you can and don't get me wrong, you can connect doing that. Like people do that and they kill all the
Right.
time. But you can't do that hard. It's even like you get into fitness and sports and shit. Like, dude, you can't do everything 100%. You have to pick what is more
Mhm.
important to you. You can't be fucking an ultra fucking marathon guy, a bodybuilder, and a fucking like it just doesn't work. You can dabble in all of them
Mhm.
and be pretty proficient at all of them, but like if you want to hit the Olympia stage, you ain't gonna do that doing fucking ultras. You can't do it.
Mhm.
It's gonna require the time. So I look at it like that. Like I spend as much time as I need to make the best educated guess I can, and then I hit a piece fucking hard, and I hit it as hard as I need to see what's going on, and then when I decide to abandon it, I typically abandon it, and then I'll go to the
Mhm.
next piece and give my 100% attention to that piece, and so yes, elimination of ground is huge for me. I
Yeah.
think yeah, that's kind of what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like sort of, or yeah, right? Did I hit
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Yeah. 100. Yeah. 100% was like, because I think a lot of people spend a lot of time trying to find, and rightly so, they're trying to find the spot, but a lot of times it doesn't come to you first, right? The things that come to you first, like you should take the things that come to you first, which is knowing what's not right, right, or what isn't going to work, and then just start
Yeah,
removing that, and then you have a
yeah,
smaller area to kind of focus on to try to find the spot. Because I think you're right. Like a lot of people go in and they're trying to find every little nook and cranny that that could be huntable or whatever, where you're really just looking for the one, right? And I love the analogy you use with sports, right? Because you could be a marathon runner, you could be a whatever bodybuilder, right? Jiu-jitsu practitioner, doesn't matter. If you don't have intention behind what you're doing, the likelihood of success decreases with the lack of intention, right?
yep,
So just like in sport, right? It's like if you're bodybuilding, right? And I know nothing about bodybuilding, so I'm going to just this is going to be a terrible analogy probably, but if my back isn't great, right? It's like and I continue to do curls, like the intention's wrong. It doesn't matter how many curls I do, but it's not going to fix my
yeah.
back.
Yeah, you got to prioritize
So
that split to grow the back for sure. Yeah, it's
yeah.
just and yeah, and the more you the more you freaking just spread it out and are unintentioned with it. Yeah, it's you're just kind of throwing shit at the wall at the time. Except with hunting and shit, I guess sometimes like there is luck.
Mhm.
There's a huge luck factor, and like I said, there's people
Sure.
who wander around with absolutely no clear intention, and they split, and there always is that element of like, yeah, even a blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes, but where you tell the difference of that is
Right.
consistent success year in and year out. Like that's where you can like take a step back and like, okay, is there merit behind this? Like, what's this guy's doing? And then you can look a little deeper of like, okay, well,
Mhm.
how it does it lend for success a lot? Because I know people that, um, they just, I'd rather, I like seeing there's more so, there's a few different camps of people I see like predominantly at the road shows. And a lot of these guys are so close to like connecting that last dot and then just like
Mhm.
being fucking smooth sailing. Like, and I love seeing that and trying to like navigate that like. And usually it's a mind thing. Like their mind just doesn't wrap around a simple concept, and I just get them to think outside the box a little bit. Then they connect the dot, and then all of a sudden they're like just killing every year. And it's like
Mhm.
so it's cool because like, and a lot of times it's simple, and a lot of times people get in their own way too. and it's really easy to overthink, overanalyze, and kind of set yourself
Yeah.
up like for like fear of failure,
Yeah. What's wild? It's funny because it's I think you're so right. Where a lot of times people get to that last rung and they're just like they need the one little thing, right? And they can't see the forest through the trees. Like they probably already
Yeah.
have it, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they just don't
Yeah,
know, you know.
yeah.
And it's funny because as a good friend of mine as you are, right? It's like as far as hunting goes, man. It's like a lot of what you share with me and stuff like that. Like I take a lot of that to heart, right? Because you're really good at what you do. You're good at your craft. We hunt very similar, but not exactly the same, right? And so I pick up a lot of stuff from you every time we talk, right? And then on the flip side, like you started this jujitsu journey. And so I can kind of see the inverse of like how your brain kind of works and how you got like and developed as a hunter almost as we
Hmm.
talk through like jujitsu stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And because your investment in it and like interest in it and your meticulous nature of like asking the why question, right? Like that's I almost believe that trait alone is what will make someone a good hunter over time. They may not get there really, really quick, but it's
yeah,
that one trait that they have. And it's the same thing that I see with guys in jujitsu. It's like guys that, that I train with that are new guys or whatever. You can almost always pick, as long as they don't get hurt or life doesn't pop up, and get in their way or something like that. But you can always kind of tell kind of relatively quickly, like who's going to stick around, right? And
yeah,
it's usually
yeah.
always the guys that like are asking the good questions. They want to know why this worked. They want to know how you did this. They want to know when you put your hand here, I did this, but you still submitted me with this. Like, how did that work? And that to me was like, I got a little glimpse into like how your brain works when we
And
started talking jujitsu.
yeah, and it's funny because like were a bit. I remember when you started, you were like, dude, I'm getting into this shit, man. You would love it, and I'm just like, oh. And I remember even at that time because I've thought about it for a long time, but and I remember you making the reference of like the way that you think about hunting. Like, I think you would really like this. It's like a because I think you might have said something about like the way that you think of hunting reminds you of something, or like the
Yeah.
puzzle of it, right? The
Mm-hmm.
or the thinking outside the box type stuff, and I do feel like there's a huge correlation to that, man. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you get somebody who's a little driven, but also like my mind's always going, and I'm always thinking about something, trying to think outside the box, trying to understand it. It really, I think, does lend itself well into that scene,
Yeah.
Um, dude, I'd say like, and I dig it because like I like that there's like just like I pick things up from different hunters too, and like I can like it almost seemingly like I watch like six different people roll, and I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm starting to
Mm-hmm.
see little things like that, and things are being highlighted to me, and it's the same thing I do in the timber, like like it's like watching deer, watching activity, watching. So obviously it's different, but there's so many similarities for sure.
Yeah.
But you're right, you hit it on the head. It's like most of it's like the desire to learn. Like not
Mm-hmm.
everybody has that. Some people are
Yeah.
just there kind of going through the motions, and I've even noticed that. Like or they think or it's almost like, I've seen people like that too, even being a beginner jujitsu guy. Like I've seen somebody who's like thinks they want to do jujitsu, and then after a couple classes they realize they don't want to do jujitsu. And they
Mm-hmm.
don't, might not get the whole thing. It's the same thing with hunting. Like when you're actually in it and it sucks and you're having to scout your ass off and you're not seeing anything and every fucking picture on Instagram is somebody fucking killing a giant, it starts to beat you down a little bit. And if you don't have that desire to get better and that desire to go through the suck and suck at something, like a lot of people don't, and especially now, like it's just, oh, I'll get more cameras or I'll get more technology. You can't do that with jujitsu. It's like you
No.
can't like you just gotta fucking and you gotta suck for a little while, and you
Mm-hmm.
gotta let your body build up and build those. I do that. It's so crazy because I think it's the same thing with hunting. Everybody's
It.
so obsessed with being a black belt in whitetail hunting, and I'm just like, dude, get the fuck out there and just just apply yourself. If you apply yourself to hunting on a consistent basis, you will be a fucking animal like in no
Yeah.
time, like or in seemingly no time. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like
because
so similar.
it'll happen slowly as you're doing it, right?
Yeah,
But it's like
yeah,
when you kind of get to a spot and you look back, you're like, man, that didn't take really that long at all. You know,
no, no, yeah,
in
yeah,
reality, right? And
yep,
and that was the thing. Like I saw like the connection to hunting. At least for me, it was around like the question, asking the whys. It was the puzzle piecing together. It was the constantly learning stuff because talking about watching deer and stuff like I watch a lot of rolling videos. Like I watch a lot of matches. I watch a lot of like instructional stuff. Same thing with like whitetail hunting. It's like if I'm watching whitetail content, it's like I'm not watching it usually. This is like a blessing and a curse. I don't watch a lot of things or do a lot of things for pure entertainment value. I'm usually always looking to pick something up, right? Like, so
yep,
when I listen to podcasts, like whatever it doesn't matter what it is. If I'm listening to like an economics podcast, it's because I'm trying to learn something about investing. If I'm listening to a white hunting podcast, like Cody was on, like you were on another podcast or whatever, and I'm like, cool, I'm gonna see what Cody had to say, and I'll try to pick up a nugget from it, right? Or watching a video, like watching gear videos or whatever it is. Like I'm trying to learn something that I can use. That's just like the way I operate. There's not a whole lot in me that is just pure entertainment necessarily. And so it's the same way as watching deer
yeah,
and do deer things when you're in the timber, right? Regardless of whether it's the deer you want to kill, whatever the case is, like just watching those deer intently will teach you about deer, right? Watching two guys who know how to do jujitsu will teach you not everything you need to know, but it'll certainly give you a really good picture of what it's supposed to look like. You know what I mean?
yeah. It'll help you, and I think one of the biggest things that is lost in today's day and age, especially just with the hyper or with the rush for the success and not, and I understand like I have such a like I was blessed with so many years of being in the timber that a lot of people don't have, but that's what a lot of people don't realize. It's just like being on the mat, dude. Those people who have been on the mat for years and years and years, like you roll with somebody who's been rolling for 20 years, like I
Yeah.
would imagine like if they're any bit like we are or like a person that like enjoy like is and why would you be doing it for 20 years if you weren't like
If you
I'd
didn't dig it.
imagine
Yeah.
like exactly. So like when you watch that happen, like you you're like holy shit like and you understand and there's that time has produced that efficiency and like that along with the with the drive and the commitment, but it's the same thing with hunting. Like we can all walk out there, we can throw up a stand anywhere and you can get lucky, which is different from like this sport stuff, but that's what I think people have to they have to remember that, right? And just being like, and so much of it goes to technology, and which is great. Technology is great, and you can watch YouTube videos of rolls and stuff, and I can watch as many instructionals as I fucking want. But dude, this shit, for at least for me, it does not click until I'm getting smashed. Like, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You can tell me how to escape side control all you fucking want until somebody has a gnarly cross face on me and I'm sitting there and I have to think through it and breathe. Like
Yeah.
that's when I'm going to learn. And that's what people don't
Yeah.
understand about hunting is it's like, dude, get out there and don't just be out there with the fucking intent and watch the
Mm-hmm.
deer, see what they're
Yes.
doing. And then when you see what they're doing, ask yourself, why are they doing it? When their ears flicker, why are their ears flickering? Is there a fly on them? Or are they like,
Mm-hmm.
or did they pin their ear back to hear something?
Mm-hmm.
When their tail flicks, like what is that? When their tail is fucking stiff, what do they do? When they put their head up, when they stomp, like when you know what I mean? Like, dude, there's so many things, and even turkey hunting. You watch a turkey go through the
Mm-hmm.
woods, and they're yelping and they're looking around, and their head movement and their body language. It's like you can get to a point to where like if that turkey is sketched out at all or
Mm-hmm.
if they're just going about their business and like it's the same thing, man. It's the same thing with I or what I think like jiu-jitsu hunting like there's not enough commitment to just get in it and be intentful in it and be okay with being where you're at
Mm-hmm.
and then just growing,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah. The big word there, man, for me was intent, right? Because that was the one thing that, as I was kind of going along and I was, getting better or whatever the case was, I kind of had a question from my coach, and I ended up using this in hunting as well, and it helped me. Didn't kill that that deer this past year, but it put me in a good position. And the piece of advice he gave me was that, like, he's like, you're at a point now where like you need to come in to train every session with intent, like something you want to work on, like whatever it is. It might be 2 or 3 things that I want to try to get to, like positions I want to get to or submissions I want to try to get to or whatever the case is. Truth of the matter is like during that training session, I may not get to any of those positions, right? But I'm coming in with the intent that that's what I'm going to try to work on, right? I'm going to try to manipulate my roles to get me in those positions, right? To work on that stuff. Doesn't always work out. And so I kind of took that same thing to hunting. And I think a lot of times when people go into the timber to hunt, they're just going like, they wake up in the morning and they go, I'm going to hunt today. That's their intent, right? But that's a super broad, like, idea to hunt, right? It's not very focused,
Yep.
right? And so what I started doing was, I was chasing that big deer this year, and I would get, say it's a Wednesday, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to hunt Thursday morning. I'm like, all right, my intent is going to be I'm going to scout this section, and I'm trying to go to an area where I think I might be able to cut a track. I want to try to cut a track today, or I want to try to cut his rub sign, right? And that's what I would do. Now, I might not find it, but with that intention, it ultimately would lead me to places where I'm like, oh man, okay, yeah, I think this is the puzzle piece here. And I start picking up other things along the way. But it's having that intention to where it's like, I'm not worried about the other things that are going on or that are going wrong, quote unquote wrong, or that aren't working in my favor, because I have an intent of doing this, And so it made like the outside, the noise a lot easier to, when I say noise, it was like the outside kind of like component of hunting where it's like things aren't going my way and I'm not finding what I want to find, because I was looking for anything and everything as opposed to
two big pictures.
Yes. And so when I started kind of narrowing it down and being way more focused on like, I'm just looking for this thing, I ended up starting to find, I'd be like, awesome, found this scrape that clearly he's using here, right? Cool. And then like one day I went out and I was like, hey, I'm going to try to locate, whatever it happened to be, trying to cut a track, I think that day. Ended up finding like what was his rub, and it had a identifying mark on it that I could find. So then from there I was able to find other rubs. So it was like I wasn't even trying to find his rub that day. I kind of abandoned that and was focusing on something else. But that's when I kind of fell into it. And it was all about every day having an intention of like what I was going to try to accomplish that day, right? And it was never to hunt. It was always to learn something.
Yep. I agree 100%. I mean, I don't get too, like, my hunting intent is a little less focused, like that you were hunting a specific deer, so it's a little easier, like if and I'm trying to think, I'm trying to correlate like some of my intent specifically
And
to
I
give
want to
you an
say this,
idea.
this is just how I approached it. It's how it's how I've learned through training jiu-jitsu. It's how I've learned that my mind, I can almost trick myself into not motivation. I can trick myself into the discipline by changing my intent each day that that I'm going to go out.
It's like, thinking, it's like, hey, I need to make another step, not thinking about the whole marathon you got to do.
Yeah.
It's the same concept, because it gets overwhelming. And I do think like that's super important. I do think I'd like to preface, there's importance for like somebody who's totally green to go into hunting just to hunt to a degree of like learning nature. So for instance, like I'm not at your level yet of jujitsu. Like my intent is not die, right? Like my intent's to go in there. Like I'm like, all right, I do not want to be tapped. Like I just want to survive, and I want to play. I want to play the defense and just not get tapped. Like it's survival, right? So like, but even then, that's intent.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit more broader intent. Like I think to have the intent of like, okay, I'm going to get out, I'm going to scout, I'm going to try and set up on some sign, and like that's it. That's my intent. Like and just observe, and then just do that and do it over and over and over and over and over. And then once you start connecting the dots, then you can start to laser focus or hone in that intent a little bit more. And then especially if like you catch a glimpse of a deer, it's like, okay, well, and mine is usually like I just have a rhythm of like, I usually hunt, and I'm always trying to move. So like my intent is to not stay still either. So I'm just trying to like, hey, find a spot of interest, see what's going on, move to a different spot. Find a spot, see what's going on, move to a different spot, and then until I run into something, then my whole intent changes. Then it's like kill mode.
Yeah.
But I try to not be in kill mode. And this is
Mm-hmm.
another thing that, man, we dabbled into with a while ago that like is kind of getting off on a different freaking wavelength that people I don't think I've ever this is I'm going out on a limb here, but I'm gonna like I have never met one person, and I've met a lot of people in the hunting space and a lot of people. I've never met one person that thinks as deeply about like that sort of like mind shit when hunting as I do. And I always try and bring it up in different conversations. And there's people who have dabbled in it and who understand and who think it's and who think there could be some relevance to it. But like even the intent of you being out there hunting as a hunter, I believe is like super powerful. And
Mm-hmm.
being out there an observer is different, totally different. And it triggers the sixth sense of these animals. So if you can hone, and this is getting off, this is getting a little out there, but if you can figure out, it's like that whole, it's like the Hulk, man, figuring out how to keep that heart rate down. Like if you can figure out how to not be the predator and just move through and observe, and that's like, dude, that's my ultimate. Like that's my zen. That's my that's my what gets me off is like when I can do that and I can seamlessly move through a piece of ground wherever I am, just no intent of like no intent of obstructing anything. That's why I'm not big on food plots and a lot of that. I just like to I like to go through. But yeah, then I go into predator mode, and then it's a little different. And I still try and keep it at bay because you don't want to be like a predator walking through there. But um, yeah, man, that's why I don't. That's why I've never gotten into still hunting yet, which I want to. And I just think I need to retrain my mind to what that is and what that looks like. Um, but I just like to, and
And
that's a lot of, that's a lot of times while I'll see like a lot of these. And if you really think about it, every person who's been hunting for a while can correlate what I'm saying, and they don't
mm-hmm.
even know they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
I mean,
if
it's just
it's like if a
uh,
spike buck came through by you, you'd have no like
yeah.
that spike buck wouldn't have a care in the world if you were
He's
looking for
safe
your
as safe can be.
exactly. And there's no but if if you were like drooling for fucking anything with antlers and that fucker came through, it could be the dumbest most like I mean obviously these things are young, right? So it's a half-year old
Right.
deer, it's got no experience, it's got no, I don't care where you are, like it's about as green as an animal can be, and the fucker'd probably bust you and get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
it's that's your aura,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Dude, I agree with that. Like it's one of those things where it like with golf or baseball, like a pitcher may be a good example. Like the harder you try, the worse you're going to pitch. You just have to
Mm.
almost be, or like, my father-in-law is a big golfer and he's really good. And it's one of those things like if you try to hit the ball harder, you're not going to hit it further. Like let the club just
Yeah.
do the work, right? Just put
Yeah.
club one ball and let physics work.
Mm.
I kind of feel like it's the same way in hunting. Like if you want something so bad, like you're going to almost choke it out. And it's when you're on the mat, I've had this conversation with my coach about this because I'll compete really well in the room and train really well in the room, like and be able to roll with some guys that are really good and have some good rounds and stuff like that. And I get to tournaments and I do okay, but I compete tight. And I
Mm.
always say, I'm like, man, I wish I could compete the way I train in the room, because in the room, it's like, I don't have a care. It's like, I'm
Yeah.
just creating on the fly to a degree. Like if I'm in like a competition type of, if I don't have intent, if my intent is just to like win positions, in
Yeah.
the round or whatever, you almost get in like this flow state, like where it's like, you're just taking what's coming and you're just seeing everything. And like, cause he asked me the one day, he's like, when do you feel the best? And I was like, I feel the best whenever I'm super aggressive. I was like, that's whenever I feel the best, because everything just kind of happens naturally, And but the hardest part is to try to do that whenever you're in a competition when all the chips are pushed to the center, right? Because there's
Yeah.
something that different happens in your head, and I think it's the same thing in hunting, where if you're just kind of there, going about, flowing through the timber, being observant, not really being a killer, so like there's not really any anticipation or anxiety that's built up, right? Then I feel like I agree with you. I feel like your surroundings kind of mimic that. And I think whenever you get heightened, right, or you get anxious, or you get whatever the verb is, right, then I think your surroundings mimic that back to you. You know, I think it's the same way when you compete. When you compete free and loose and clear, then I feel like that's how the competition comes to you. When you compete with anxiety and a bunch of worry, then I feel like that's how the competition comes to you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there's levels to it, man, I think, because there's also just the overarching pressure that people experience now because like it's just the pressure to produce in general. Like in
Mhm.
today, like I said before, like everybody's scrolling. There's you're seeing the biggest deer get shot all over. Everybody's shooting something, and people are going out there just so anxious and so trigger happy, and so like they're just so wired up to shoot something, and that's why a lot of those people only have success, like in the rut when the deer are running, because it's not you put that sort of energy in an early season, like lax timber setting, like right outside of a bedding area, like good luck, man. Like they're gonna sense that shit. I mean, I remember when my sons were born, and they were it was a pivotal year for custom gear, and my sons were born premature, and they were born at 27 weeks or something. They spent like 3 months in the NICU, and I remember that, and they were born September 21st. So it was right when season kicked off. And, almost dying at birth, being, under 2 pounds, sitting in the NICU. The NICU was 2.5 hours away, or 2 hours away, sorry, from even like my home hunting property. And I remember like I was so out of it because of the kids being over there and my wife being over there, but I was still trying to hunt, like to get out to hunt, like because that's what I'm like. It's work, but it's in a way my escape too. Like it's my
Hmm.
passion, it's everything. But dude, the energy that I was taking into the woods that year was so bad. And I swear, like looking back at it now, like I could literally see nature just arcing around me. Like I'd be sitting there, everything would just happen like nothing would even come near me. Nothing. And it sounds crazy, but like and I ended up connecting with one. It was one of the roughest years I've had. And then I ended up connecting with one completely kind of like by chance, just pinballing around like I do. And I do think I got lucky that year. Like I was on my way to some other spot. I spotted this buck kind of, cruising. It was literally one of the only couple rut deer I've ever killed. And I just happened to be right place, and I snuck in there with a stand on my back, got up, and ended up getting something shot. But even then, when I got into that spot that was hot, because I seen it, there must have been a hot doe around there, and I slid in and got there, and I was waiting, and then shit started to kind of trickle back in, and they were like, "What the fuck?" Like they weren't even digging it, and that buck kind of barreled in and ended up getting an arrow. But I'm telling you, that energy that I brought in because of what was going on, and there was like this pressure for me to hunt, but also to shoot something, but also like I was forcing it. Dude, that's it on a whole nother scale, right? So like the general pressure to produce, and then that's just bad energy. And like my situation I was going, like if you're having a fight with the old lady and you're just fucking spinning out, you may think like going out into the woods will reset you, but like if you're just sitting there dwelling on it and you're fuming, like, dude, you might just have a shitty a shitty night hunting too, So,
Right.
it's nice to have your shit in order too, or at least have your mind right when you're out there.
Yeah, and have different releases too, right? Like
Yeah,
having
yeah, yeah,
other
yeah, yeah.
ways to have other ways to get rid of that, because
Yep.
to your point, you know, don't want to have whatever going on in your world, which may not be right at the moment, and then add insult to injury by going out and having a shit hunt anyway, which
Oh, dude.
then you start
It
being mad about
compounds.
that, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like I'd
yeah.
rather just go to the gym and lift, and just like pound that out, pound out that aggression or whatever, or get on the mat and train and exhaust myself
And
mentally and physically and be like, all right, cool, I'm good now.
and this all comes back to the presence aspect. And
Mm-hmm.
and the reason that's happening is because you can't remove yourself and be present in the hunt. That's
Yes.
why that's happening. Like you're carrying too much shit. It's just like shooting like some of the bigger celebrities and shit talk about that with shooting the bow, and they say that like, okay, like you gotta, and I do correlate that because I remember. I did a post one time and I thought it was a pretty cool quote, but it was like it's something along the lines of like if my mind wanders, so does my arrow. So like
Mhm.
if I'm
Yeah.
just not like, and it's true, man. Like if your mind's somewhere else, you're just not gonna do good. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's with anything. It
Dude,
seems obvious, but like fuck, it's
it seems
well,
obvious until like we're always really quick to pick out the obvious, right? Or you could even say it this way: people are always really quick to pick out problems, but are real slow with solutions, right? It's the
yeah.
same. It's the same thing, right? Dude, you hit the nail on the head. I was actually just out shooting the longbow before we jumped on, and I've got some family stuff I got to run back home for tonight and things like that, and like work's crazy busy and just been stressed out, right? Been stressful a little bit, and so I was out shooting, and I've been shooting lights out for like weeks, right? I go out and I shoot and just shot like dog shit, like terrible, you know what I mean? And I realized like after I was about 6 arrows in, I'm not like I was like my mind's wandering while I'm shooting. I was like my eyes are wandering while I'm shooting. I was like I'm not focused on the spot, you know. And so I had one more arrow and I was like I'm going to just laser in on this, focus, drop the arrow right where I wanted it. Right? Like literally hit the little brown spot I was trying to hit, right? And then I stopped. I ended it right there because I was like I'm going to end it on a good note because I don't think my mind is in it right now, right? I was like and it's just going to probably get worse. You know, and that's just an example, right? Where it's like it's a great quote, but I think there's a lot of truth in it. Like if your mind wanders, so will your arrow. Like I have, especially when you're talking about a traditional bow, I think maybe a little bit different. Maybe it doesn't wander as far if you have a compound in your hand, right? But with a longbow, I think it makes all the difference.
Yeah, do you start, and that's another aspect. Like there just needs to be a confidence aspect. And as soon as you start to doubt that confidence is when you don't even realize your mind is wandering. And like, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just that hair of a doubt in there will really, and I think this is going to sound shitty, but I think there's a lot of really good traditional shooters out there that purposely put that doubt in a lot of people's mind.
Hmm.
And it's a tactic because like it's one of those things where like okay like it's yeah you might want other people to shoot traditional but like I don't know man there's just so much negativity in that circle and it's so much like well you got to do it like this or like you can't do or there's so much bashing when somebody does it a little different and um it's really easy to get somebody doubting themselves and take a step back so I think confidence but also like with your shooting you got to like even like there's too much too. Like a big thing I've noticed is like you get a situation like that, and then everybody's so quick to be like, "Ah, I'm shooting messed up. Like, what's wrong? I got to change my anchor, or I got to change my." And it's like, dude, you shot like shit. You shot shit like shit for one day. Your
Right.
mind was like, or whatever. Like, dude, just chalk it up. Just hang your bow up. Come back tomorrow. Like everything's fine. Don't
Mm-hmm.
fucking overthink it. Like, there's no witch hunt. Like I mean, like nothing's wrong. You just didn't shoot good today. That'll happen. Like it's just not.
Yeah.
And I see here so many people like, oh, I'm not hunting with my bow this year because I just shot like shit. I was shooting really good, but like, or I shoot 7 good arrows and then the eighth one's a little off, and I'm like, okay, a little off. Like, what is that? Well, yeah, I'm shooting 3 inches to the right of my eighth arrow. I'm like, so who gives a shit? And they're like, well, I
Right.
can't. I can't hunt. Like, what if that happens on my hunting shot? I'm like, so then you'll still kill the deer. So you're
Right.
fucking 3 inches. You're. But that's the way I look at it. Some people would be like, "Oh, this guy's a fucking unethical
Yeah.
bastard. Like, what is he talking about?" And I don't know, man. It's like,
I'm
it's
the same
just,
way. I'm the same way though. It's like because at first, like I kind of bought into a little bit of that myself, where I was really hard on myself, like shooting, because it's like nobody wants to wound an animal, right? And so I
yeah,
was shooting,
yeah, rightfully
and
so.
I sent some of my shots. I sent them to my buddy who actually got me started down the traditional path, my buddy Todd, and I sent him just some pictures of some of my groupings or whatever, right? And I was like, it's coming together, and I wasn't feeling great. And he just sent me a text. He sent me a message back and said, every one of those killed that deer,
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And,
People
and it
get
kind of,
way too caught up on the. Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, and it just kind of like flipped for me where I was like, you know what? He's right. I was like, I'm just looking to kill the deer. I'm not looking to I want to
Hmm.
be as good of a shot as I possibly can be. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to kill a deer. And that's what my goal is. I'm not looking to be a world champion, Olympic champion archer. Like that's not what my aspirations are, and, removing a little bit of that, it wasn't really pressure, but a little bit of that doubt, whether or not I could be as consistent as I wanted to be,
Yeah.
And then once that kind of removed, that's like my shooting got even better, at that point.
Yeah. 100%.
So again, it goes back to the mindset aspect thing, right? It's like being present when you're shooting, feeling like you can do it. If you feel like you can do it, you'll be able to do it. If you feel like you can't, you won't. It's pretty simple.
Yep. Yeah. And forcing things that aren't right. Like just, shoot how it feels comfortable. And I mean, I've seen more people fuck up with the most expensive compound bow, the craziest sights, so
Mhm.
dialed. You shoot with them in the driveway, and they are literally breaking arrows. Like they can't even shoot at the same place twice because they're
Mhm.
breaking arrows. And you get them out in timber, and they fucking shoot over a deer's back. So it's like,
Fall
I
apart.
mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like it's so. I think people are too hard on themselves with the shooting. I think that's a big thing.
Mhm.
And it's yeah, man.
I mean, I think they're hard on themselves all the way around. I think, what you were talking about earlier, which is they're constantly comparing themselves to, the Joneses, and that's a recipe for
It's tough,
losing.
dude.
You know.
Yeah, and dude, in today's day and age, that is really tough to not do. Everybody's seemingly making it. Nobody ever has a bad day. Everybody's got the hottest girlfriend or wife. Everybody's got the fucking biggest bicep. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if you really look out there, sometimes it's like, holy shit, man. And then if you start to if you start to compare yourself to like what the norm is out there, it's like, oh shit,
Right. Or
damn, fucking.
everyone's doing it better. Everyone's got
That's
an
what I'm
opinion
saying.
about how you're doing it. It's like
Yeah.
it's not even worth paying attention to. You just kind of go do you, and as long as you're enjoying it, having a good time, and you're achieving the goals and having the experiences you want to have, then everyone else can pound salt. You know.
Yeah, and that's what like, dude. Honestly, with the shooting too, I just thought about that. But like, I was so jacked to get after turkeys this year, man. And I just like, to me, I looked at it like I look at turkey hunting is like as like just sharpening my blade for whitetail hunting. Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
turkey. Yeah, it's different, but like the bow, the shot, the stealth, the fucking woodsman's, like just everything, man. It's just you're just honing your shit for it's just more hunting. It's more time in there. It's more time to. And I remember thinking, or years ago, like when I first even picked up a trad
Mhm.
bow, I was like, I remember thinking like, ooh, to fucking smoke a turkey with one of these things would be tough. And that would be like that's a good shot. Like you got to be a really good shot to get a turkey. And I even said to myself, I'm like, yeah, you're not that good of a shot, but like you could might get lucky. And like you can group good enough to get it to kill a deer's vitals, but like turkey, dude, like you're talking. And then and I don't hunt in a blind either, so it's like okay, a turkey outside of a blind, like with like that's a stretch. And this year, dude, was a sweet connect, man, on a bird outside the line with the longbow. Just smoked him like 100% instinctive, no thought whatsoever. Like waited for that opportunity and just smoked him. And then even as I then was tracking him where he ran off, he actually burrowed in a bunch of thick cedars, and he started flapping his wings like. And I was walking through, and I had the GoPro running, and I was like, because I just gave him a couple minutes, and then I
Mhm.
started walking closer to see if he was there, and he started flapping his wings, like, and the arrow was in him, but he started flapping his wings, and I had an arrow knocked, and like 26 yards through the cedars, fucking pinned him right to the ground, like just like not even thinking about it, just like, and it's just like, holy shit, like when you get when you get to like clicking, everything's humming, it's like I wouldn't had you had me sit there and like just think about it, like it'd be a different story. But like the
Yeah.
just it was fucking cool,
Mhm.
man. It was a
Yeah.
cool experience.
Yeah, man. When you get into that flow, right? Like
Yeah, the
that's the best.
flow. That's what it is right there. Yeah.
That's the best. That's the best feeling. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's golf, hunting,
Hmm.
tiddlywinks, checkers. What I mean? Whenever you're just vibing on it, that's the best.
Yeah.
Like nothing can beat it.
Yeah.
But
Or like that one thing you've been thinking about in jiu-jitsu, all of a sudden you like do it instinctively and you're like, holy shit. Like
yeah,
the 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 first time you're like,
yeah,
or
yeah,
like you
yeah,
counter somebody's fucking move and you're like, gotcha. You know,
yeah.
yeah,
Or you set up, you lay your first trap. Like I remember that.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the first time I submitted somebody by like intentionally baiting them to do something, right? It was
Yeah,
like, oh my God, that worked, you know?
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you feel like Superman, you know, which
It's
is
pretty, it's pretty cool.
what's the one question though is excuse me, is when we training together, when we getting some rolls
Dude,
in.
dude, I'm so like even talking about this, I'm so upset and fucking pissed off at myself like that I haven't. So I didn't train at all on the whole trip. Like even I think I hit a gym maybe like a handful of times. I didn't. I mean, I was training, just not jujitsu training.
Yeah.
And I was like running and doing a lot of running and doing some weight shit. And I usually have a mace bell and a kettlebell and like a sandbag in the van when I'm rolling. So like or when I'm so I did get some training in, but like that's what I was gonna preface too. Like my biggest hurdle for jujitsu is so from the beginning, from 15 years old, like when I started weight training and then I got into bodybuilding or powerlifting or CrossFit or running or literally any or fucking cycling, like anything that I've ever done, which has been a lot of shit, it's all been like it's all been me. The only thing that it took was me. Like
Right.
I only needed myself. I could work around my schedule. I could do any. And my biggest hurdle with jujitsu is that like it's no longer me anymore. Like yes, I
Hmm.
can do some training by myself, but I don't feel like I'm not. When I try and drill by myself, like I'm not to the level. I'm not good enough to get anything out of me drilling by myself.
Hmm.
So like
Yeah.
me needing a partner and needing a class to attend that I can get to around my schedule and then where I'm at so rurally, like with
Hmm.
such a limited, that's my biggest thing, man. So
Yeah.
if I can figure out a way around that to just like, dude, I was like just like I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, I should put out an ad for like a fucking jujitsu training partner and just see if there's somebody around that's like that that's
You
like in
totally
my same
should.
that's in my same boat. That's like, man, I wish I had somebody to just fucking grapple with fucking, every day at 11 o'clock or something. And I would, dude, that would be like a
Dude,
godsend for me.
you should totally do that.
Eh,
You got a barn, right?
I do. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah. Put some mats in the barn, you're good to go.
I got this office now, dude. I got plenty of room right there for a fucking couple mats right there. And
There you go.
it's like fucking it'd be primo, but
The
yes.
Lone Wolf
So
Custom Gear Dojo coming
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
a
The
new
Dying Breed
academy.
Dojo.
The
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. The Dying
Um,
Breed Dojo, dude. That's a great academy name. We got to make
yeah,
that happen.
yeah. Just fucking middle of nowhere, Iowa, cornfield, fucking. Well, Iowa's like a huge wrestling state, dude. Like
Yeah.
even the gym that I go to too has got some fucking hammer wrestlers in there.
Yeah.
And military guys and stuff. So it's cool.
Nice.
But yes, dude, I want to do some training, man. I got on the roadshow circuit. I'm gonna be out there. We gotta link up, man.
I told you
And
I got a spare room for you. You got you can come in, you can hang at the gym for a couple days. There's weights there.
yeah,
You can get on the mats together. You have everything you need. You just let me know.
heck yeah, man. I'm looking forward
Nice.
to it, man. I'm gonna be out. Yeah, it'll be one of those weeks. I'm definitely gonna make it a point to stop by because you're outside of Philly, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Just outside
Mm,
Philly. The
yeah, I'm excited for that.
yeah, so
I have to
that'll be
limber up the
good.
old knees here.
Yeah, got to get loosened up, dude. I'm gonna put you through some paces.
Oh
Nice.
shit.
So the one thing I looked forward to this year, aside from the hunting that I was doing, is like I was enjoying following along on some of your hunts this year, which I thought was cool the way you kind of captured everything this year because you've
Oh,
gone
on
through
the
different
YouTube?
yeah because you've gone
Yeah,
through like
yeah,
different periods of like filming stuff and not filming stuff and you know what I
yeah,
mean. It's like I would
yeah,
talk,
yeah.
and I thought the way you did it this year was really good, and I really enjoyed kind of watching the hunts and stuff like that. I thought it was well done. I thought it was a good testament to not having to have all the bells and whistles and still being able to tell like a very cool, authentic, compelling story, right? And that was what I enjoyed. That's what I enjoyed about it, right? And just like the
Yeah.
narrative and like being able to hear that. I think that's probably what I like most about hunting content is whenever I can actually follow the person's thought process about what they're doing. And I
You
thought
know,
that's what you did that was like a little different than what other people were doing. Is that it was very clear that it was less about here's this deer, I'm going to try to kill it. It was more about like the path along the way of how you're thinking through everything, which I thought was super cool.
and I appreciate that, man. And to anybody who watched the videos and who laid a comment or liked them or whatever, like I definitely appreciate that. It's really hard for me to put out content like that because I overthink it. And like
Mhm.
in my mind, I think like so I remember even a couple of the episodes that did better on view wise and better on comments and just engagement in general were episodes that were episodes that I seen, like to rewind a little bit, like I just get bulk footage and I had somebody put them together, specifically told them like, hey, because I'm filming throughout the day, just what I do. Whatever I do is
Mhm.
what I do. I'm just filming it. And I don't want to overthink having to edit it. I don't want anything shiny and fucking all nice. I want it to be like raw and real. So like just put it together, slap it together. We'll put it out there. If people like it, they like it. And a couple of the episodes I got back and I'm just like, I'm watching them and I'm like, no, we can't launch this. There's nothing in here. Like nothing happened.
Right.
And I'm just like, at first, because I'm like, nobody's gonna like this. Like, no, literally, there's 15 minutes of nothing happening. But then I have to take a step back and like, for instance, when we were in Wisconsin scouting, I
Mhm.
scouted for 5 fucking days, dude, and hunted one day.
Mhm.
And my buddy was like, well, you got to get more hunting in there, and I'm like, but I didn't hunt more, like I just, and I think like that's the trap that everybody falls into, is like it's not always a great experience, like, and the work needs to be put in to find the spot before you can take an advantage of like hunting the spot and seeing those deer.
Yeah,
So so I
I've
tried to
watched.
tell like more of what I was doing.
Yeah, and I loved that because I feel like people sometimes will see just you as an example, like their success that you've had, right? You've killed great deer, you've
Yeah,
killed big deer, right? Um, and people will want to take people who've been successful and kind of try to take their success away by diminishing what they've done because of X, Y, and Z, or what they think has happened, right?
yeah,
And what I liked about it is that you as one of my friends and like other friends of mine who are straight killers, it's like I know the work that they put in and I know how often their hunts are that are just dog shit, right? And then it just takes that
yeah,
one
yeah,
time, right?
yeah,
That it works,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And I think a lot of people, going back to what you were
Hmm.
saying before about people put all that pressure on themselves and everyone's killing a big deer. I thought it was refreshing to see, like, you know, I was stoked for you, man, because I was like, here's a guy that I know who is, I would put him in my top list of guys who, if I had to have a deer killed, who I would call to kill that deer, right? And he's putting out content that's showing like all the warts, all the mistakes,
Yeah,
all the
yeah, yeah,
miscalculations, right?
yeah,
And what
yeah,
it did was it was like, it's like, here's this dude that people know is a killer, and it's like, dude, he's just like everybody else. The difference is, going back to what you were saying before, is mindset and willingness to continue to do it, right, and just continue to
yeah.
try and continue to put
And
one foot in front of the other.
yeah, man. And it's like there's it's it's like it was like even like the other year, man, when I gut shot that or stomach shot that one at like 6 yards in the tree, and like I did. It was like I really wanted to show that that happens to everybody, and like everybody who says they don't miss shit or don't, and you could say like, oh, you should never took that shot, like that's, I just, I wanted to do a call out of like, if you don't take that shot, you're fucking dumb. Like you need
Mm-hmm.
to take that shot every time. Yeah, I messed up, I should have sealed it, but you can't be afraid to take the shot when you have it, and you have to realize that sometimes you're gonna mess up, sometimes you're gonna wound deer. Like I found that deer out of the season, and it sucked, dude. I hated it. I would have
Mm-hmm.
loved, like, I found him all eaten up, or actually a buddy of mine found him shed season, and it's like, did I want that to happen? Hell no. Like, dude, I was hunting my ass off, and like that was such a tough year for me in the transition over to trad. And then I finally get him there, and at 6 yards to freaking shoot him in the stomach, like, dude, that was a
Right.
kick in the nuts. But like, I didn't
Right.
want to hide that and be like, oh yeah, well I know I didn't, or make up an excuse like, oh, well, what happened? Why'd you miss it? I was like, I don't know, I just missed it. Like, well, did
Yeah.
your bow had to be messed up, right? And I'm like, no, my bow was fucking, my bow was fine.
Dialed.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you had to be, it's just one of those things where like, so even with the scouting, and what I tried to highlight this past year was like process of elimination and just like moving and scouting and
Mm-hmm.
hunting, and just like, hey, we didn't see anything, but like we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing. And shit, I remember at the end of the year, like I had that one buck inside of fucking 30 yards 3 times and could not get an arrow in it. And it was just like, oh my God. Like I didn't, some of those things I don't want to show. I'm like, oh man, people are going to be like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, what is this guy? This guy's but then again, man, it's like I've always, the persistence I think has paid me off more than any knowledge or any skill ever
Hmm.
has.
Yeah,
Um, it's
100% dude.
about
And
it's about
that's
creating
that's across
opportunities.
the board too. Yeah, that's across the board too, man. Doesn't matter what it's in. It's like
Yeah.
just being persistent, will allow you to overcome a lot of inadequacies or shortcomings, if you will, in other or deficiencies in other areas.
Yeah.
Are you planning
Well,
to film again this year? Same approach.
what's that? You cut out for 1 second.
Oh, I said, are you planning to film again this year? Same approach.
Yeah. Yeah. So last year was kind of a trial. We did I think 10 videos throughout the fall. I mixed some gear stuff in there and then some hunt video. I'd love, like, my goal this year is to be able to drop one of those every week and stay in line with the season. So that way, like, people hunting can see, like, hey, what we're doing this week, like week in and week out of the season, how we're changing or how I'm changing shift and focus and where I'm at. So yeah, my goal is to keep going with that. Maybe shorter, quicker, 10-minute type episodes, but more often. And yeah, just keep kind of the same thing going. But because of like busy schedules and stuff, like I think the Dying Breed Bowhunter is just going to remain kind of like a fall time channel where like the videos pick up in the fall and they kind of fade off out of the season, or maybe I'll get into podcasting one of these days, maybe if I get my shit together. I don't know,
You
but
got your office now. You're good to go.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Get some mats in there, podcast set up, and be ready to roll.
dude,
Figuratively
everything.
and literally.
Yeah, 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 yes, exactly.
Nice. So, dude, the deer that you killed on film this year, where was that? Where was that at? Was that Iowa?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Iowa. That was um that deer actually gave me the slip quite often, and well, that's the thing, man, with no camera data nowadays and stuff. It's like all I can do is hunt and scout until I can get visual confirmation. And the area that I was hunting is like it's dense cedars, uh kind of like they're like drainages that feed into like bigger crop, big egg stuff, right? So, and then there's like dense cedars on the top, and then it gets into some bluffy stuff, and then it gets down to like walnut plantings and like creek bottom type things. And I remember finding some good sign down in this bottom, and just knowing that, or having a really good idea that it'd be like a shooter,
Hmm.
So I just kind of kept really trying to hit that area, and I found a really good bed and then a secondary bed, and like just I was finding all these key information, these key little things. The weather wasn't the greatest, didn't have a whole lot of buck activity. The little bucks that I seen, I just knew, like, because I remember I think I seen 4 bucks total before I shot that one, and it was probably a good 20 days of hunting or whatever. So like it wasn't, and it was right when the cold front started to come in, and those bucks that I seen, I just knew weren't the bucks that, like, they weren't big statured enough to make, like, to have those beds. They weren't, they like the couple of the scrapes I found in the rubs and stuff. It was just very very dominant esque track size. So I would see those bucks, or I seen those bucks, and I just kind of kept hitting that area, and I just kept thinking the scenario was happening one way. Like even after all the years and like, hunting, areas like this or different places, and it's like, I had my hypothesis and I kept hunting the area according to that because I was like, nope, this is what's happening. Like every time I look at it, this is what's happening, this is what's happening. Well, it turned out like it was happening a little bit of the opposite. So, and then when I finally honed into that and switched up the game plan, and I stopped hunting the bottoms and I switched over to the top on a cold front, I ran into him like this. I think it was like the second sit, or the like it was like perfect area, perfect ambush, perfect wind, like the last day of a cold front, like freaking, and it all just came together. Super, super, super great,
Right.
and again, like I talk about, the awesome thing is like I had no idea what that deer was until fucking 5 minutes before I put an arrow in him. So it was one of those things where like, oh shit, okay, yeah, that's him. In hell, and I'm not even gonna bullshit you. There might have been a bigger one over there that maybe that
Right.
wasn't the deer, but like that one was that one was good enough. And
Right.
I mean like the where he was coming in and where he was. I'm 97% sure that that was the deer that was leaving the sign I was hunting the whole season.
Right.
And yeah, but it was a good one. And I
Yeah.
got fucking damn close after that a few times, out of state. Uh, but it was just, yeah, it was kind of and it got busy, and um, a lot of deer got. There's been last couple of years, man. A lot of target bucks have been getting shot
Yeah.
or dying,
Yeah.
and that's been tough. I actually got, dude. I got a set of shit. Let me grab these real quick.
Yeah. The
Oh,
so as you're getting ready for this year, are you out like doing any glassing? I mean, I know you don't use cameras or anything. Are you out doing some glassing, running some roads?
yeah. Now I won't. No, not right now. No. But yeah. So that's super important, especially without the camera aspect. Like glassing before the season kicks off, I'll start to do that pretty religiously. Do a couple scouting trips, late in the summer, right before. Like I don't really care too much to go beat that down right now and see like deer, at the
Hmm.
ears. Like I'll wait till about August and get that late summer pattern. And then specifically if I'm hitting new pieces of ground or out of state ground, I'll start doing some e-scouting. And I always just try and get there at least 3 or 4 days before I start hunting, so I can
Right.
do that like instant road glassing. If I can get like usually a good 5 days, I can cycling around at that prime time if there's road access or like doing a little scouting trip. Like
Hmm.
that's pretty important for me just to get a beat on something. And if I
Right.
can't get a beat on something, then I just usually do a couple days of scouting, like right, like
Yeah.
um, right
Leading
before
up
it kicks
leading up to
off.
the hunt. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this bastard. Can you
Holy smokes,
can
dude.
you get
Yeah,
an
I can
idea?
see him.
Freaking, so a main frame. Well, he's a nine. Well, technically he's a 10. He's got this little eye guard there. But like, dude, he was real tight. I think he was. So he probably sat about like this. He made an hourglass, um, and was hunting this deer not last year. So this would have been the year before. But we called him Tippy because like he like, leaned in like this, and his tines were almost touching. Like it was crazy. But this buck got into a little skirmish with like 130-inch pencil rack 8 pointer, got a tie-in in the neck, and died
Jeez.
right in the river bottom. Like so, I mean, like, dude, anything can freaking happen. Like So and then here I was hunting this deer. I was like, where the hell did he go? Where did he go? I got so close to him, and then I was scouting around. I had this weird feeling. I was scouting around the bottom, found him dead. And then
Jeez.
yeah,
What
just
is
a freaking hammer.
would one of those sides score?
Actually, I didn't even score it, dude. I mean,
No?
he's over 170 as a nine,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Like
Yeah.
I think this is a 14-inch too right here.
Yeah.
Um 14, 13, and his brows are like 9. Like
Yeah.
they like, dude, he's just and his mass, dude. You can't
Yeah,
even
his mass
it's
is
hard to
crazy.
tell, but like that's some serious mass. I bet he's probably 175, 177 as an 8 probably,
That's
which is
crazy.
just a
That's bananas, dude.
oh dude, it's insane. And honestly, like it was such a big bodied deer that it was one of those things where you'd see him and be like, dude, he's a 150, man, he's solid. And
Hmm.
then like when I grabbed his rack on the ground, I was like, oh my God. Or like I touched it, I was like, dude, this thing was a freaking mega, you know.
What's
Um,
so what's on your plans on your radar for this year? For one, like any deer from last year, wherever you might be hunting that you know of that you're trying to run into, and then, Iowa, of course, but you head to any other states?
um, I applied for a North Dakota tag this year. I don't
Yeah.
know when I'll find out if I got that. But I applied for a North Dakota tag, so I'm hoping to get up there for like opener early when it's nice and cold, like September 1. And I don't know where I'm going to go yet. It's a statewide tag, so I would just kind of wing it. But I like doing that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I got that potentially going. I'm going to hit the Bluffton, Wisconsin, probably mid-September. Um, I caught a glimpse of one last year. It's so tough for me because I'm kind of known as a little bit of a pessimist, along with that like blank slate type
Mm-hmm.
mentality. Like so many years, like I would have so much high hopes of deer making it, and then they never would, and I would just get pissed. So now I just can kind of consider everything dead. So like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's some deer that I've seen that I think would be awesome. Like even a couple of those bucks I seen last year in Iowa, they were like 140-ish, like that,
Mm-hmm.
like with really good potential that out here, something like that can jump to a booner in a year, like with the
Right.
right conditions, right? Like, they're not stressed. Like, so it'd be awesome to see any of those. But I'm not like specifically looking for a deer or like have high hopes that you know,
Right.
so yeah, I'm just kind of, and I like it
Dakotas,
better that,
Wisconsin, and Iowa, huh? Is that the plan? Those three?
yeah, I'll definitely hit Illinois. Illinois is a state that I always hit. Potentially even Missouri too.
Hmm.
But I really kind of take that as it shakes out. So like if I end up killing early and I got, you know, a little bit of time, I'll head somewhere else. But I've been trying to. Virginia didn't happen last year because of some mix-ups. So like I really would like to hit Virginia too. So maybe I'll do Virginia instead of Missouri, but for
Nice.
just like a week thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I'll be
yeah,
out in
it's
your I'll be out in your neck of, well, not your neck of the woods. I'll be in the plains a little further south from you. But
this year.
yeah. Yeah, so
Oh shit.
yep. So the if I strike gold early, I'm kind of taking a similar approach to you to a degree. I'm going to kind of hunt like I hunted I'm going to hunt out of state this year like I hunted in state last year, which like when I was chasing that deer, I basically just lived in my truck and my trailer for like 30 couple days and Starlink and worked from it and hunted from it and just took the days off where the weather was right and just like scout the morning, go out back out in the evening and hunt slash scout, if I had a place to set up by dark. So I'm going to kind of take that same approach this year. I'm going to head out to the Midwest probably. Plan right now is like last week of October. I think I want to be out there to start the last week of October and then hunt at least through the first 2 weeks of November into the third week of November if I need to.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
That's a
so that's
frick. You can't go wrong with that, especially if you got that. That way, if you hit a dead spot or a lockup phase, like you got enough time before and after it, or
yeah,
before it. Like with that amount of time, dude, you should be into some good stuff, I would think.
yeah. And I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be in the same general area where I killed that big one the last time I was out that area. So
Yep,
I kind of know the area. I kind of know
that'll help
how the
for
game
sure.
gets played a little bit. So I'm not going in blind. Just a lot of glass and similar to what you were talking about. Just try to find something as I get there, and then with that much time, it's like I don't have to spend time traipsing all over like pieces. I can spend more time driving and glassing than trying to get a visual on something and then know, okay, there's one here, there's one here, there's one here. So now let's go ahead and make a plan and start, putting on some hunts for them.
Yep, hell yeah,
Yeah. So that's
yeah, dude.
the
That's exciting, man. I just can't believe how quick it's coming up, dude. Like
dude.
I'll be hitting the road in a couple weeks, and I'll be gone all August, and then boom, it's fucking here. It's like
Yeah,
it's freaking nuts, man.
I know I got to tie up some loose ends at work. I think I'm actually going to do at least one, if not maybe two competitions before the summer's over yet. So we'll see about that. I might do the Chicago Open, and if schedule permits, I might go to Vegas and do Master Worlds. But we'll see
Damn.
if I do that or not. So trying to
Are those
decide.
both in August?
Yeah, the one's August 9th in Chicago. I'm pretty set that I'm going to do that one because I'm already going to be out. I'm already going to be in Chicago like the week prior to that. So it'd just be me staying an extra couple of days to do that tournament. And then I wanted to do Master Worlds, but I would prefer to do Nogi. And that one's in like December, and that's hard because my training's still solid, but it's more sporadic in the fall because of
Yeah,
hunting. You know what I mean?
with hunting. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I like to usually have like a good, like several weeks of lead up to really kind of feel good before I go in. But I was talking to my wife about it. I was like, maybe I should not be as neurotic about it and just go in, like show up however, whatever state I am as far as like training goes, and just go compete and just let it rip.
Dude, that might be the ticket, man. Less stress and pressure on that one performance, and then you might just freaking roll better and
Yeah.
surprise yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And I
But,
mean, and yeah, and if not, then you can always adjust. It's like it's
yeah,
not like it's that crazy, but
yeah, exactly. So the goal is going to be to kill one out there while I'm out in your neck of the woods, and then swing up through and see you, and then
oh, 100%.
go
Yeah.
train with you.
Yeah, you have to. That
Yeah.
has to happen. Or
Yeah.
even honestly, dude, like, well, shit, yeah, because I'm even only 2.5 hours from Chicago. Like, I'm pretty close.
Oh,
I
nice.
actually thought about checking out. Our gym did a Chicago show.
Mm,
I don't know what it was. It was a big one in Chicago, just maybe a couple months ago. I don't know. I was like, oh man, I
mm,
should go check it out and see what the competition scene looks like.
mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm ready for that yet, but
Ah,
we'll
dude,
see.
just do it. It's like anything. It's like
Yeah,
anything else. You just gotta let it rip. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Nice, man. Well, hey, buddy. I know we've been chopping it up for like an hour and a half. I want to be sensitive to your time and let you get out of here. Let you spend some time with the family and whatnot. But before you run, let people know where they can find out more information about Dying Breed Bow Hunter, Lone Wolf Custom Gear, and where they can get the straight dope on the roadshow schedule.
Yeah, man. So pretty much, man, everything I do goes right through my Instagram. So Dying Breed Bow Hunter on Instagram. You can find me there. Um, the Whitetail Roadshow has an Instagram as well. Also, uh, roadshow.com. All the links, Instagram is probably the best thing. But yeah, if
Nice.
you're interested in coming to one of those events, I think we are sold out for the Ohio, but there's still tickets left for Georgia, the home show in Iowa, and Virginia. So if you want to get one of those, check out the website or go to Instagram. You can link it over, but it's gonna be a good time. And then yeah, and anything I do is either custom gear or dying breed, man. So
Awesome, brother. Well, I appreciate you, dude. Good luck this year. I'm sure we'll talk beforehand, before everything gets kicked off. And then I'm super stoked you're training jiu-jitsu and can't wait for us to get on the mat
yeah,
together.
yeah. I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped to learn some stuff, man. I'm gonna hit you up when I'm out in your way.
Yeah, I can't promise I can teach you anything, but I got some guys that can.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I will learn. I will
Yeah.
learn from anything. So,
All right, brother. I appreciate you, man.
all right. Thanks for having me on, man. Good talking to you.
All right, folks, that is a wrap for today's show. I'd like to thank all of you for listening. And if you haven't yet, please head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star rating. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast. And hell, while you're at it, head over to YouTube and give us a sub there too. I'd be super appreciative if you do those couple things for me. And before I shut this thing down, I need to give a big shout out to our partners who continue to help us make this podcast possible. Tacticam, Asio Gear, Hawk Optics, Face Off E-Bikes, and Lathrop & Sons Boot Company. And until next time, we'll see y'all.